In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the Write-On effect to reveal an image. I'm inside After Effects and I have an Illustrator file that I'm going to go ahead and open up here. It's basically a flourish of sorts. A lot of times this, let's see, there it is. This can be used for revealing a variety of images. I'm choosing kind of a multi-layered wispy kind of image to show you some of the finessing that can happen. I'm going to import the file not as footage but as a composition, and I'm going to retain the layer sizes. Go ahead and click open. And if I double click on this to open it up down in the timeline, you can see that it's all black in my window. And that's because the composition is kind of black on black. And if we switch the composition settings so the background color is white, then you can see my image there. And 15 seconds is a fine duration for this. I will go ahead and keep that. So we'll click OK. And if I look down in my timeline, you can see that I don't appear to have much time for any of these layers. And that's because if I go up to After Effects and Preferences and Import, you can see that when I import still footage, the length is 1 frame. And sometimes you want that and other times you want it to be longer. So we're just going to click OK to show you what's happening. And if I come down to my timeline and select them all, and I come over here, you can see that resize arrow pops up. And if I click and drag, you can see I can extend it so that it is there for the length of the composition. So a lot of different kinds of things that you can do. Just trying to show you what's happening with a variety of settings. So this is my flourish, and what I want to do is use the Write-On tool to basically reveal the lines over time to make it look like things are being written on as time passes. My layers are just the kind of hierarchy that we've got from Illustrator. If I want to see which layer is which, I can click, and then you can see the selection is there. And so basically I've got 2 categories of my layers here. I have, and we'll go ahead and zoom in a bit. I have the lines, the curved lines for the flourishes, and then I have these end pieces that have sometimes a little bit more of, maybe we could just call it like a bud or a leaf at the end. So there are a couple different ways that you want to treat these. If I deselect an image, you can see that that it disappears. If I come up here to the top and I turn the visibility on and off for layer 3, you can see where it's sort of coming in and out of the screen there. And so basically what this is that I'm going to need to draw this line on first and then reveal layer 3. So just getting to know your file at the beginning is usually a good thing to do. I'm going to try to let's see, we'll zoom. We'll go ahead and fit the image here, and let's take a look at where. Okay, so we've got this file, this layer here, layer 15, and it's a fairly significant file throughout the flourish here. If I turn it on and off, you can kind of see where it goes. So we're going to animate layer 15 coming onto the screen. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the visibility for everything except this layer, just so I can kind of focus in on what I'm doing here. So I've got my layer selected, and over here in my effects and presets, underneath generate, the last one that I have here is Write-On. And again, if you don't want to kind of hunt for things, if you forget which category it is, you can use the little search function there. If I type in Write, you can see that Typewriter comes up, as does the Generate Write-On. And so to add this to my layer, I can come and drag it up here, which in this case will be fine because of the way that my project is set up right now. However, if you had a lot of different things happening on the screen at once, sometimes if you drop it on this way, you can end up putting it on the wrong layer. So just to be safe, we're going to come down here and drop it on layer 15. And when I do that, you can see that the effect controls change over here in the left-hand side of my interface, and we've got the write-on effect added to this particular portion of the file. And just to go through a couple of the different kinds of things that are going on here, the write-on tool doesn't just work for revealing the image, it works for some other kinds of things too that we'll cover in a different tutorial. But what we're going to do now is just set it up so that it will reveal the image over time. And we're going to do that by animating the brush position property. And you can see that we've got a little time vary stopwatch there. I'm at the beginning of my composition, so I'm going to go ahead and set that keyframe so that it will record my movements as I change over time. And if I want to reset the position of my brush, I can click here, and then that gives me my crosshairs over here. And I want it to start over here. And so you can see we've got a little crosshair there. So this is where we're going to start from, and then over time we're going to move the brush so that it reveals this flourish. We're going to bump up the brush size a bit. We'll go up to 4 to start with. And I'm also going to need to change that over time because of the way that this flourish works at the end. So we'll go ahead and set a keyframe for that at the beginning of my composition as well. Now the brush hardness value is going to be basically how soft the edge is, and 79% is our default, and we're going to keep that for now. But if you want a really clean edge as you're making something animate over time, then you'd want to up that to 100%. If you want a very soft edge, making it look more like it's emerging out of space, then you can soften it up. Opacity, same kind of thing. We're going to do 100%, but if you want some of the values in your overall composition to be softer and let the bottom layers show through, you can change that opacity as well. Stroke length and brush spacing we'll talk about in the other tutorial. We don't really need them for this particular piece. Down here at the bottom though, underneath paint style, this is where what we're going to do really makes a difference. So here we've got reveal original image. And if I click this, my image disappears. And the reason for that is because over time, as I change the brush position, it's going to slowly reveal the image. And you can kind of see where underneath my little brush position here, I can see the faintest hint of a mark. Now, if I go forward in time, like half a second, and I come up here and I grab my brush value, you can see that as I change this, it's basically building a straight line between my original position and my current position. And based on the size of the brush, so if I up the size, you can see if I go up to 8, I've got more of the image showing. And so we'll do that in half a second. We'll go forward a little bit, and we'll see more. And again, you want to be thinking about what's the timing of the, are there things that are happening quicker in one part of your composition than in the other? Do you want it to kind of go in fits and starts? And you can do this while the image is actually being, like on the original image if you want to, and then you can kind of see where things are going. If that's a little bit easier for you to work, you can do it that way. And you can see the white color here that's basically being drawn on. So it just depends on how you're working and what works best for you. And we'll go forward, picking things up a little bit as we go. And again, if you've got a lot of curves in your position, then you need to kind of tighten up the space between time-wise. And we go forward and forward and forward. Okay. And if I reveal my effects here, you can see where all of the different keyframes are happening. And again, the distance between the keyframes indicates how fast we're going to move from one to the other. And so now if I come back and if I switch this to reveal original image, and we'll deselect so that that bounding box isn't there anymore. And if I press the space bar just to play through, you can see it draws out the image. And so using this kind of element as a guide, you could go through and create the same kind of effect for all of the different kind of curly cues that are there, and then bring in those buds at the end as if they were about to bloom. So I hope this gives you a nice little preview of how the write-on effect works. And if you have any questions, just let me know.